Hi everybody, we're going to look at using the sum or difference identities for MyOpenMath homework. Here's the problem we're going to do. It says let alpha and beta be first quadrant angles with the cosine of alpha equal to the square root of 11 over 6 and the sine of beta is the square root of 6 over 5. We're supposed to find the cosine of alpha minus beta. We can either enter exact answers or we can round to 4 decimal places, and that's an important part of what I want to show you and how to put in your answer. We'll start by drawing our two angles, alpha and beta. For alpha, we know the cosine is the square root of 11 over 6. That means that the adjacent is the square root of 11 and the hypotenuse is 6. We know that sine beta is the square root of 6 over 5. That says the opposite is the square root of 6 and the hypotenuse is 5. Let's go back to alpha and figure out what the opposite is. For easy reference, we will call that a. We'll use the Pythagorean theorem to find the value of a. We'll have the square root of 11 squared plus a squared is equal to 6 squared. That tells us that 11 plus a squared is 36. A squared will be 25, which says a is just 5. To find the adjacent side for the angle beta, we'll start by calling the adjacent side b. Then we have that b squared plus the square root of 6 squared is 5 squared. This says b squared plus 6 is 25. B squared is 19, which says b is the square root of 19. Let's put those two values on our triangle. From here, we're ready to find cosine of alpha minus beta. As a reminder, cosine of alpha minus beta will be the cosine of alpha times the cosine of beta plus the sine of alpha times the sine of beta. I'm going to write in these steps so we can go slowly and see what each piece is. We started with the cosine of alpha as being the square root of 11 over 6. We need to multiply by the cosine of beta. The cosine of beta will be the square root of 19 over 5. Now we add the sine of alpha, which will be 5 over 6, and we'll multiply by the sine of beta, which we have as the square root of 6 over 5. Our denominators are the same in both cases. We have 30 on the left, we have 30 on the right. When I multiply the square root of 11 times the square root of 9, I get the square root of 209. When I multiply 5 times the square root of 6, I have 5 times the square root of 6. If you want to put that over a common denominator, you would have square root of 209 plus 5 square root of 6 over 30. Putting that in the calculator, we get approximately 0.8901. In MyOpenMath, we can put in 0.8901, which says that the answer is correct. We can also put in the square root of 209 plus 5 square root of 6 over 30. MyOpenMath will also accept the square root of 11 over 6 times the square root of 19 over 5 plus 5 over 6 times the square root of 6 over 5. This shows you have lots of choices in how to enter the answer for this particular problem.